If your scores are stuck, it's not because you don't know enough. Instead, it's because you're spending massive amounts of time in the wrong places and it only feels productive. Meet Shravani, an IMG aiming for internal medicine. She needs a 250 plus in step 2, but she's been stuck in the 220s, despite doing Anki every day, taking detailed notes, and studying full time. But then we identified the real bottleneck. The problem wasn't effort or intelligence, it was where her time was going. If you've ever felt like you're doing everything right and your score still isn't moving, see how small efficiency changes can unlock big score gains.
All right, so these are all really good questions. The question I want to address is like, there's 10,000 things that you could be doing right now. Is that fair? And that's why it can feel so overwhelming. All of us in our lives, if we think of our sleep, our mindset, or whatever, like there's like 10,000 things, if not more.
Yeah.
However, there's only one thing that will make the biggest difference. Is that fair?
Yeah.
So would it be worthwhile to try to figure out what that one thing that'll make the biggest difference is in your studying?
Yeah, that's for sure.
Great. Let's do that.
Okay.
All right. So the way that I like to do this is then I like to look at your, like all the screenshots that we asked you to send us, because if I can see that, I can do a pretty good job of figuring out where is the bottleneck and what is that thing. Okay. So you're making a reasonable number of Anki cards. So that's good. It looks like you're doing your cards every day. Maybe not so many this day, but like for the most part, it looks like you're actually finishing your cards every day. Is that true?
Yeah.
You may not be hitting again very much because there's this like very, very, very tiny hint of like red here and like a lot of red. So you may not be hitting again very much, which is backed up with this. Oh, you're hitting hard. Okay. So one kind of small thing it can become a big thing, but one minor point I want to make is don't hit hard.
Okay.
So I'm going to put this at the top. So do not hit hard.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, if I say pick a lane, right? Either choose again, like if you don't know it, hit again, or hit good. My guess is since you almost never hit again, you probably should hit again more. About 10% of the time you should hit again, right? That's what they mean when they say that the retention is set to 90%, because about 10% of the time you should hit again. Okay, make sense?
Yeah, makes sense.
So that's the first thing. So that in and of itself can make a pretty massive difference for you for you to improve your attention.
If you're serious about maximizing your scores, join our 14-day mini course now. We'll send you 14 high-yield videos that break down the exact concepts and test strategies our students use for 260 plus scores. Click the link in the description below now to get instant access.
Because if you hit hard when you really should hit again, it can really hurt. Okay, so that's the first thing, because you're hitting hard like a third of the time.
Yeah.
That's not good. Hard should be like 0% of the time. And here you're hitting hard like 2/3 of the time. And the reason for that is because you're hitting hard a lot here when you should be hitting again. And so when the card intervals get longer, now you're hitting hard like so much more, because like it really is hard, because you should have reviewed it more frequently by this point. Okay. Can you show me, I don't see your QBank tests page. So I don't know how quickly are you hitting 80% on thing.
Yeah, so I can give you an idea. Like if I take a 5-question quiz one day, then I take a
So how many questions are you doing per day?
Yeah, that's what my problem lies. I am not able to do more than 5 questions a day.
Okay.
Okay. Because the other day I took my Palm critical quiz, first quiz. I got all the 5 questions wrong because I'm weak in pulmonary. Then I started deep dive. So particularly how it goes is I review the test, then I review the page on which the subtopic is, then the page before, then the page after, use Feynman for all the 3 pages, and then I make the cards.
Okay. Say that one more time. So you read it, you do Feynman, and then you make cards after all of that?
Yeah. So let's say I got something wrong on ARDS. So I'll go to the first aid book, step 1 and step 2 for management and all. Then I'll review the page which has the ARDS, the whole topic, then the page before and the page after.
Good.
Then I make the Anki cards.
I see.
It takes
Can I make a
5
suggestion?
Yeah, please.
So that's taking way too long. So you want to be able to do more questions and make cards more efficiently.
Yeah.
And so the way to do that is you should make cards as you learn.
Okay.
So there's two ways of doing this, right? You can do what you're doing, which is like, I'm going to spend all of my time learning everything. And then afterwards, I'm going to go back and I'm going to make cards on that thing. That's fine. It's also kind of inefficient, right? Because like you're going to learn it and then you're going to move on to something else. And then you're going to have to go back and be like, wait, what is that thing again? And like, because Anki, remember, Anki sets it up so that you do the card the next day, which implies that you're going to forget a ton in that first 24-hour period, which, I mean, anecdotally is definitely true. So what I would do is follow the method, and as you're learning it, make the connections. And as you make the connections, make the card right then and there in your deck. Because the other thing that will slow people down is that they'll make cards in their Google Doc or something like that, like the asynchronous assignment. And then afterwards, they'll have like 60 cards. And now they've got 60 cards that they've got to like copy and paste manually into their deck.
Yeah. I used to do that until like I met with Jonathan. He told me some tricks. Like I used to manually type the front, the back, the summary, and the details. Then he told me that you don't need to do that. It's just for recall, not for relearning. He told me, and then he told me just use how to use the USMLE ChatGPT to make that.
I think that's okay. Yeah. So like you should always make the front of the card always yourself. It's okay to use the USMLE GPT to make the back, as long as you refine it.
Yeah.
And to make sure it's accurate.
Because making my own cards, like it used to take me a lot of time because
That's fine. Yeah. Using it to make the back, I think it's fine, but you should always, Okay. So you should make the cards as you learn it in the Anki program. That's probably the single thing that will make the biggest difference.
Basically, I want to tell you that. So I just want, if I read like something like mechanical ventilation today, so I'll write it down and close it and I'll write it down like this.
Yeah, I don't get that.
Yeah. So I need to tell you, right? So that I think, okay, what do I remember? What do I don't?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. So don't do that. Why would I tell you not to do that? It's more just because you're adding a lot of friction, right? So if you have to write it all down first, because like how often do you go back and reread those notes?
Yeah, I don't at all.
Yeah, exactly. So like, I mean, yes, is it better than nothing to write something down? Absolutely. Definitely better than nothing. The number one thing that you could do that would make the biggest difference in terms of like how quickly you're moving through the material is make cards as you learn them in the program. Do not take lots of notes first.
Yeah.
Your Anki cards are your notes.
They are like, I just want to tell you that those notes are not like, okay, treatment or diagnosis or something like that. It's the notes I make is like, it's like mechanical ventilation is in the center. I think, okay, as you described in your lecture, what are the functions of the lungs? Then I think, okay, oxygen, taking in oxygen, giving out carbon dioxide. Then with that, I like make flowchart, focus on the treatment. So it just takes me like 5 minutes to make them. That just
and I
links
still
everything
probably
for me.
wouldn't do it.
Okay.
Like that, because that's 5 minutes you could be spending on just making more cards, more and better cards.
Okay, I'll try that.
Based on your scores, so there's kind of two things. One is that like Anki is, I think, the thing that's slowing you down the most because you're just not doing many questions per day, even though you're studying full time. Like you should be doing 5-6 times as many questions per day.
Okay.
Right. So I guess the other thing that you can do to cut down on the number of cards that you're making is set a timer. It's pretty arbitrary, but like, for example, you could say, I'll give myself like 1 hour per half page of first aid. So like that. Again, it should be relatively kind of arbitrary, but like that way you're not spending like way too much time on something.
I get it.
Because you strike me as kind of a perfectionist where it's like, oh, you get nervous if you don't know like one little thing. Is that fair?
Yeah, that's true because every time like I give NBME, it's stuck in that code. So I think, okay, maybe I don't know what.
My guess is that you're kind of holding a hammer and everything looks like a nail. So I say this because I've worked with a lot of Indian IMGs, and most say the same thing. Because if you think about it, in India, if you got a question wrong, it's almost always because you didn't know some random fact.
Yeah.
Is that fair?
Yeah, that's fair.
Would you believe me if I told you that for the USMLE Step 1 and Step 2, if you miss a question, at least 50% of the time it's not because you don't know some random fact?
I do believe you since I took your course.
Yeah.
But not before that.
And so because what you'll find is that to get to like 220, 230, you need a fair amount of knowledge. Maybe even 240, right? But from 240 to 250 or 250 to 260 or 260 to 270, it's very, very, very minimally about knowledge. I'll give you an example. So we had a student who, she wanted to do plastic surgery. She was a DO student. She was like, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. She said the same thing. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I've done all this stuff. My scores are stuck. Her NBME before she joined was a 225. She's like, okay, but I've got my test is in like 3 weeks or like 4 weeks on us. Like, what do you need to do? We did another session and we analyzed her interpretation. She did an NBME. She brought it. We had to do an assignment beforehand, similar to this. And I went through and I just spent 20 minutes going through and trying to figure out like what was the mistake she was making when she was reading question. Turned out she was being the lawyer. Turned out that every single time that she was reading a question, if something felt a little off, again, IMGs do this a lot because like you're used to parsing out like small deals. Every time something felt a little off, she would say, well, that can't be the right answer. And then she would eliminate an answer choice and she would choose the remaining one. She changed that one thing. And in 2 weeks, her score went from 225 to 257. Now, do you think it's possible to get 30 points worth of knowledge in 2 weeks? To learn 32 points worth of like random facts or details in 2 weeks? No. But if you have, obviously, like if you got 10 problems of question interpretation, this doesn't work. But she had one problem of question interpretation. So we just figured out what that one problem was, and she solved it, and her score jumped by 32 points. Because she was good at everything else. She had the knowledge. She could put the question together. It was just that, so I tell you this story because the thing that holds people back at your range, yes. I mean, like, the biggest thing that's going to hold you back right now is that you're spending way too much time on Anki. Either because you're not being efficient with how you're reviewing cards, right? Because you don't want to hit hard, right? You should hit again more.
Mhm.
Or you're just spending way too much time making your cards. Right? So it's taking you too much time. So that's sucking up all of your time. It's just now being spent on like Anki unnecessarily. Right? We want to still have the same benefits of Anki, but have it take less time. And the way that we're going to do that is we need to make sure that you, make Anki cards, spend less time on things that aren't you learning the thing and making cards directly. Once you do that, the next step is going to be interpretation, because there's like a whole world of things that I'm sure that we can help you with to help you with the interpretation.
About step 2, like I have done like cardio, GI, and I'm in pulmonary for step topic. So can you like help me out that when should I plan? Because I haven't put up the application yet to that I will take a step 2.
I would say focus on the Anki thing, and then you got to work on your question interpretation. We didn't have time to do it today, but like that, like to get a 260, you have to get good at question interpretation.
Okay. I need
That's kind of it depends on, if you do coaching, it'll be faster. I can virtually guarantee that. And the better you are at sort of breaking down the skill and using USMLE GPT and the other resources available to you and drilling it yourself, the better you'll get.
Yeah. So if I take up the coaching, it will be done in like 8 weeks, maybe.
I can't make that promise. The only guarantee in life is death and taxes. There's no guarantees. Instead, what I would recommend is people either choose the deadline or they choose the score. Who do you think scores better? The people that choose the deadline or the score?
I think it's the score.
Score, absolutely, right? If I say I'm going to do whatever it takes to score a 260 and I'm going to take as much time as I need, always, pretty much always score better. And then who do you think takes their test sooner? The people that are like, I'm going to do whatever it takes to get the score, or the people that are aiming for a deadline?
Whatever it takes to get a score.
Yes. Yeah. And why do you think that is?
Because
They don't cut corners.
Yeah.
They're actually doing it properly. So it's actually faster for them to do it because they're actually taking the time to do it the right way. So if you say, when someone asks me like, oh, what is it going to take for me to get there in 8 weeks? It makes me worried because usually people don't make it by that deadline that they want.
Yeah.
But if you say, I'm going to do whatever it takes, who knows? You might get there in 8 weeks. Does that make sense?
that does make sense. But
Yeah.
since I know how to use the USMLE GPT now, thanks to Jonathan too, I think I'm on track.
Yeah. I mean, like this will help. Fixing this will help. And then working on question interpretation is almost definitely going to be the next thing to focus on. That's good. All right. Very nice to meet you.
The problem was never understanding. Instead, it was remembering. The next video shows you the exact card-making system that makes what you learn stick. So you stop relearning the same things and start building toward that 260 plus. Click here to watch how to guarantee a step to 260 plus and see how students went from barely passing to crushing it.